Do you have questions about your health? Do you need to find out what's keeping you from feeling your absolute best? If so, your intuition has guided you to the right place. I am Dr. Charlize, and welcome to the Art of Healing podcast community. In this podcast, we explore all topics in health and wellness, from Reiki to functional medicine, energy medicine, chakras, and meditation. Join me every week for fresh new episodes that highlight healers, various healing modalities, and choose this as your opportunity to find what healing works best for you. If you want to learn more about me, simply Google at Dr. Charlize. Enjoy. Introduction to energy medicine. So I wanted to cover energy medicine and some of the healing modalities that are in energy medicine. So this part of the talk is going to be just a sweeping introduction of different energy healing modalities. If you're interested in Reiki, you should also know a little bit about these other healing modalities. And the way it works in this world is a lot of times you might find out that you are called to one of these other healing modalities, or you even feel a call to combine one of these with your healing practice. So let me share my screen so we can see the slides. Perfect. So, an introduction to energy medicine. So, the first type of energy medicine that I started with, which is one that we discuss fairly frequently with me on the podcast, and I'm an active practitioner, is Reiki. Reiki is one of many healing modalities which can fall under the umbrella of energy medicine, complementary therapies. Reiki is the gentle energy healing in which we channel universal healing life force into a recipient. It's guided by a specific set of principles, but what we love about Reiki is gentle, it's not invasive, it can be used to heal mental, emotional blocks, spiritual blocks. And Reiki can be learned by anyone at any point in their life, or you can receive Reiki from a practitioner. And in the handout that you'll receive, and of course, if you're not here, I'll be sending it by email. I'll have some links to a particular organization that gives a nice list of various complementary medicines and practitioners that offer these. In the energy medicine world, again, there are multiple types of healing modalities. One that there's a very popular book on, I believe I've got it included in the reading list that's going to come with this talk, is Quantum Touch. Quantum Touch is one that hospital organizations and some corporate organizations have actually started to use. And Quantum Touch is similar to Reiki. I'm not a practitioner of Quantum Touch, I've only read about it. The training is somewhat similar and somewhat similar ideas as far as channeling energy and using intention. The origins of it are different from Reiki, but it's one that many have taken to as a form of energy medicine that's got benefits as far as pain relief, reducing inflammation, and overall well being. And again, I think I've got it included in the reading list that I created of books that I recommend to my clients. I highly recommend where you can learn more about quantum touch. Qigong is definitely one of my favorites. So, Qigong, which is a branch of traditional Chinese medicine or TCM, is the origins of Qigong. It is actually considered to be more of a martial art in its origin, except rather than being used in defense, it's actually used to move your energy. So, Qigong is something that you learn as part of a personal practice. You learn from a Qigong master, someone who studied it for years and years, and they teach you how to use posture, movement, breath to tap into and move your own energy. A Qigong practice usually looks like a session or a class, and the movements themselves are based in traditional Chinese medicine. So it's a lot more leaning on things like acupressure points and meridians, and you focus on any imbalance in your body, and you might perform one or a series of Qigong movements to help move that energy. I have taken Qigong classes, and I found that as a Reiki healer, and even in my like medical world, when I'm seeing patients, Qigong is just awesome because you get to move energy, you use your breath. And when I've taken live courses, a lot of times they invoke sound. You use different sounds and you try to move the chest and move the belly and use that vibration to get your energy kind of wiggled and unstuck and in place. Qigong, like a lot of these energy healing modalities, also involves some meditation. It's just one of my favorites and something that in the last couple of years I've started to use before I have clients and after I have clients and on myself. With Qigong, when you get into the practice enough, it's a nice exercise because you really get your muscles moving and get your joints moving, and it feels you learn it. It's a healing, energy healing modality that you can use on yourself, you practice on yourself. And I just love anything that you can do at home on your own or wherever you need to be. Of course, having a guide or a teacher is perfect, but you don't have to. Once you start, you have resources or learning it, you can be practicing on yourself. It's similar to Tai Chi. I often forget to tell people that it's very similar to the practice of Tai Chi. Many Qigong practices can be performed seated. And so for my patients that have mobility issues, it's something that I'll frequently recommend because a seated Qigong practice can be great for relieving pain, boosting energy, but can be performed safely if you've got balance or movement issues. In the energy medicine world, crystals and sound healing are very important energy medicine modalities. Crystals can be used to amplify energy or to shift energy, and how they're used depends on your personal practice, budget, of course, what you're wanting to accomplish. And then, of course, there are some crystal healing therapists that work with crystals. Some people find that just holding a crystal in the palm of their hand can have healing properties to it. Some people like to use crystals, placing them on various parts of their bodies while they're in a meditation. And then sometimes just having a certain crystal with you throughout your day, having one you set on your desk at work, for instance, and programming that crystal for a certain intention, to protect your energy or maybe to protect your energy from the EMS from your device is a good way to do that. With crystals, that can become a more expensive modality because you have to purchase the crystals. The general recommendation is you want to decide what you need the crystal for. When you shop, you want to use your intuition. So if you're shopping a place that allows you do want to try to touch or handle the crystals, see how you feel with it. Preferably if you can work with someone who's knowledgeable about crystals and how they are so that they can advise you. And really with crystals, less is better. So the temptations is you try to collect as many as possible. But having a few crystals that really help you in your practice or your personal healing practice really is very wise. In Oklahoma City, Terra Stone is a shop that sells high quality crystals, and the owner is so knowledgeable and she's so patient and so kind. She's one of my favorite go-to resources, her shop itself, and then just her, because she can really guide you on crystals to work with to help with your energy so that you can really focus that. Sound healing is one of the original and best energy healing practices ever out there. So, sound healing is using the vibrations of sound, which can either be through music or through devices, bells, gongs, singing bowls, but you're using the vibration of the sound. Sound is a form of energy, it's a wave, just like any form of energy, but different sounds can be used to heal different parts of the body or heal all of it. I do use sound healing in my Reiki practice when I'm working with my clients. Some people actually go to sound healing sessions. My Reiki colleague, Bailey Bruce, offers some sound healing sessions. I think she's got one even coming up here in October in Oklahoma City, where she invokes the use of, I know she uses drums and various sounds, and I've gone to her myself, she's used them. But sound, if you can experience it live, sound healing can be just plugging in your headphones, playing a healing track on your device, and the sound hitting your eardrums and entering your brainwave, of course, is very therapeutic. And of course, we know that sound can also be non-therapeutic depending on what you're listening to, but sound, and of course, it can be, something that's free. If you've got music or sounds that you know are healing or have that intention behind them, that's something you can play for yourself at bedtime, during your meditation. I use some sounds that I play in the background when I'm working in the clinic to help with my vibration so that if I'm feeling myself getting overwhelmed, I can just turn the track up, take a few breaths, release the stress, and move on. Aromatherapy can be a form of energy medicine. We know that aromatherapy works through our nose, through our olfactory nerve. And the aromatherapy, there's of course thousands of blends and types, but what ends up happening is the smell travels to our brain and messes with our brain chemistry in a good way so that it can help reduce stress, anxiety, boost mood, promote relaxation, pain relief, a number of things. And then, of course, aromatherapy can be used or applied topically to the body. With aromatherapy, the one thing I like to advise my patients, or even remind myself, is that aromatherapy really is best when it can be used aromatically, so just with smell. When you're getting into essential oils, it itself can also become rather expensive. But if you keep in mind that aromatherapy or essential oils are highly concentrated compounds that came from a plant origin, so they're designed to be used sparingly. So it typically with any essential oil blend or if it's in a bottle, one drop probably will work. And aromatherapy, if you have to work like in a cubicle setting, one way you can use it is one drop on a piece of tissue where it's just close where you can smell it. If you're needing an energy boost, that's a good way to use citrus oils or one drop of eucalyptus just on your pulse points, like on your wrist, and then you smell it if you're not wanting the scent to travel. But if you want the scent to travel, of course, using diffusers, and there's a ton of diffusers. Some of them are just specialized stones that you put the essential oil on, and it in the handout that I've included, and it'll go out with the email that I send out, I'll have a link to a company that I recommend, which you've probably heard of as doTERRA. And in that link, I think it takes you to a way that you can get started with doTERRA and get some of the savings. Think about the membership with doTERRA. doTERRA is one that I use personally. I do use it in my professional practice with my own clients, just because I know that the safety and the sourcing of it's good. And in the essential oil arena, that can get kind of questionable because there's so much out there. And I just kind of want to lean on where I can get information about where this came from and how they got it. And the thing I like with doTERRA is that they regularly give us information about where this oil came from, how they produced it, how it made its way to your shelf, so that you can feel good about it, that it's not putting a drain, more of a drain on our planet. In energy medicine, the healing can take place in person, working with a practitioner, whether it be Reiki, whether it be quantum touch, whether it be acupuncture. There are several healing modalities where it can be done at a distance. During the pandemic, this was so important, and it ended up being a way that I worked with a number of clients, is that distance healing The way you connect just depends, which is sending that same healing intention or therapeutic healing, but you're not, it's not, face to face. This is a really important healing modality, whether it take place with Reiki or just with distance healing. There are practitioners that just do intuitive or distance healing. Important way to work with people who are sick, under quarantine, in ICU. Distance healing is fantastic with surgery as long as the recipient has given their consent and disclaimers and everything. Distance healing also can be used in different times. So that gets a little bit woo-woo, but it's not locked into the present time. So if you're working with childhood trauma, or if you're working with past life trauma, distance healing can actually be used in the past, and the distance healing can be used in the future. So if you have future worries, future issues, distance healing can be used for that. Metta meditation is loving kindness meditation. And this is an individual practice where you actually practice a specific type of meditation where you practice loving. And there's several noted authors, John Kabat-Zinn and Sharon, and I think I forgot her name. I think it's on the reading list, that really are wonderful educators on the Metta meditation, where you practice self-love, then you practice expanding that love to those around you, and then expanding that love to your community and then to your world. And I don't know, I kind of think it's like a meditation practice that if we could tap into a little bit more now, we'd have a more loving world. But the idea behind it is that if some of us practice it, maybe that loving vibe will reach the rest of the planet somehow. And of course, with the benefits of these, just like with other energy medicine healing modalities, non-invasive, safe, protective, loving. And then there's a type of therapy I recently learned about. Working on becoming a certified energy practitioner. And this is kind of what stimulated me to talk about this, is that I had to learn about various healing modalities beyond Reiki. And it's one called Shin therapy that offers healing, energy healing, that focuses on trauma and emotional balances. And then in this handout as well, and it'll go out with the email that I send out, I'm going to include some resources to learn a little bit more about Reiki. I have a book that you can download where you can read it and get introduced to the terms, Reiki 101. And I think I've got included, if it's not here, it's in the other handout on Reiki sessions if you're wanting to get started with that. There are a few links that are helpful here. One is to a list of books that I've created that I found helpful and educational. So I thought it'd be good to put them together in a list. My advice often to people is that if you're getting started in this world and you like to read, that's the perfect place to start. Just reading on these topics, taking that knowledge in at your own pace can be so therapeutic. And a lot of times, whatever it is that you might be seeking is right there just in a book. So my reading list will be included. I think it takes you a link where you can download it. And then the International Institutes of Complementary Therapists. This is a worldwide organization that provides insurance and benefits. If you're looking for a specific type of healing modality, their website probably has it. So they have it from acupuncturists to psychics, to mediums, tarot card, Reiki healers. Important thing is with their website, these are insured businesses. So these are highly reputable therapists, practitioners, and businesses that you can trust. So I did list their link to find a practitioner. And then that link there takes you to the doTERRA if you're wanting to learn more. And that link does let you shop through the doTERRA site without necessarily having to sign up or fire up a membership. However, if you've been interested and want to sign up as a doTERRA member, I will be more than happy to help you out. Because like I said, those oils have been an important part of my personal practice. I work with them with clients. So if that's something that you want to have on a regular basis, doTERRA is a great way and saves you money, because if you're buying essential oils on a regular basis, it actually makes much more sense to buy them with doTERRA. I love Pinterest, and my Pinterest link, I pinned some of my favorite pins, and because I do play around in that world, I have pins on a lot of these energy healing medicine techniques that are good to check out. So I just put Pinterest link there. Thank you so much for joining during this episode of the Art of Healing podcast. If you found this episode helpful, please leave a review. Also, you can check your show notes to find out how to get a copy of this and future episodes emailed directly to your inbox, available to listen to anytime. Finally, if you have questions or wish to connect to me, check your show notes to find out how we can get connected and find out how I can be of service to you.